Okay, this is Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas, and everyone is here. Okay, we can just get into it and do our formal review, and then I changed up the topics a little bit because this book kind of changed up a little bit. So we'll go over that after we do the formal review, so whoever wants to go first.
Alright, this was my favorite book of the series so far. 5 stars. I did 0.5 for spice because obviously Rowan's back, and
That's fair.
And because of just the really good character interactions, like I don't know. So anyway, 0.5 spice, and yes, 100% recommend. I put in my kind of feedback that it was like giving me Twilight, Harry Potter, Hunger Games, all twisted together, and I'm here for all of that. I couldn't put the book down, and there's just so much growth from Selena in this one. I like her so much more now. I mean, of course I liked her as a character, but I really like her now. I would pay money to see her use her magic in real life. She's a force to be reckoned with. And then I have some little things at the end. I put bromance, heart, Abraxos, heart, and to whatever end. Love that. But really, really enjoyed this one.
Next, I put a 0 for spice, even though we got Rowan's back in detail. And then overall, I gave this a 4. And like you were saying, Kimmy, I couldn't put the book down, but I think what I really liked was that Selena finally talked about her truth and went over her past, because I wasn't liking the bratty version of her, but also just coming to terms with Aelin for who she is going to be. That was really great, just seeing her character growth. And I loved Rowan. He was a great supporting character. I know I've been saying I've been on the Kale train, but
Oh, here we go. Here it is.
I don't know, I just feel like Rowan has more personality, but we'll get into that later on. But yeah, I loved the book. I just liked learning more about her past, and then also seeing her true power come to light. And then of course all the other goings on. I also like the way that she wrote this. It was piecing together a puzzle. You only got little tidbits as we went along, so I liked kind of the jumping type of I guess not really point of views, but different storylines going on all at the same time.
So I guess I'll go because it kind of goes against Becca's. For spice, I gave it a 1.5 because I really thought that something was going to happen between her and Rowan. So I guess that was my hope of happening. But obviously with it not really happening, it kind of let me down. For the overall book, I said this was actually the worst rating in the series. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. And the main reason why was because I felt like I was reading 2 different books at the same time. I didn't like going between the witches and then what was going on with Selenia. I know that they had to intertwine it, but for me as a reader, it was sort of confusing. And it actually took me a really long time to read this book because it was just I kept feeling like it was repetitive, which I did not like. I know it might not necessarily have been repetitive, but I just felt like I kept reading the same thing but in different chapters, and it was never ending. I did, however, like the fact that her action was very inviting, and I liked the imagery that she forecasted. And my favorite thing was Rowan. The relationship that she built with Rowan, and just watching that blossom, and it made me feel like I was a part of them. I liked how they depended on each other. I liked how they were just doing it together. It was just made my heart warm. So yeah.
Okay. I'd give this book a 3.75 out of 5 stars, and I would give it 0 spice because we didn't really get any besides some little kissing for Dorian. But I don't know, I kind of agree with both. I feel like I'm right in the middle when it comes to this book. I think I would have given it a 4 if there was more spice in it, but there wasn't. But that's okay. But I enjoyed multiple POVs, but I could see from Christy's standpoint how sometimes you just like feel like you're reading two different things. Like I completely forgot towards the end when there was like that big battle, and then it went back to the witches. I was like, oh shit, I completely forgot about these guys. Like I was like, we're going back to this, and it just felt so dragged out. And it's like, no, I want to get back to what was happening before. But I still enjoyed all the POVs. I actually think that the witches storyline was probably my favorite out of it, but I think it's just because like I have this weird thing with dragons and wyverns, so I really like that. I am still on the Kale train. I love Kale so much, and I think he had a lot of character development in this book, along with Dorian. I think everybody really did. Dorian did, Kale did, Selena did. Like she was kind of annoying before, but like as Becca was kind of saying, like now she's kind of stepped out of that and she's finally accepted, you know, what's happened to her. And I have no problem with people or characters going through trauma, but it bothers the shit out of me when they do nothing. Like, as you know, there's another book that I really didn't like, and it took me forever to read because it drove me nuts in regards to like that healing process was so dragged out. Whereas like this was dragged out, but other shit was happening. Like she is working through it one day at a time, but things were going on. So I liked that healing journey for Selena. But otherwise, also really liked that there was just a lot of fantasy concepts. Like now we're finally in the world of the Fae, and we're having all these mystical creatures come out and magic, and that's what I really enjoyed about this book. And I also still like Rowan. Don't think that I don't, because I'm a sucker for white-haired men. So, that'll get there. But I enjoyed Rowan and Selena's relationship, especially because like it's like inclining that maybe there might be something there later. But this book was strictly like platonic, like their relationship. It was mutual respect between the two and understanding between the two, and it was like some type of loyalty similar to like Dorian and Kale. That sort of loyalty that's there, like that was between Selena and Rowan, and I liked that.
I'll go last. So when I read this the first time, so this is me reading it the first time, I do agree with what Christy said about the POVs kind of jumping around, because I didn't expect that. So it did kind of like lose me the first time around. I would be reading about the witches and I'd be like, I don't care about this. Like it didn't like draw my eye at the first time. But knowing what I know, reading it again, I was like, okay. Like I did miss some tidbits this time around because I kind of wasn't paying attention the first time. But for this time around, I would probably give it a 4.5 out of 5 and spice 0. But I really love this book. I don't know if a lot of people know, but when I get emotional and teary-eyed, it's usually not when it's something sad. It's usually when it's something like empowering or epic, quote unquote, even though I hate that word, but like big moments. So all these big moments in this book like made me cry multiple times, just of like, holy shit, that was cool. And I just think that Aylin's self-discovery journey just really resonated with me personally. Just like her growth and becoming the best person she could be just really got me. And the ending just destroyed me. The first time and this time, even though I saw it coming. So, POVs. So, this is the first book in the series to start with the multiple POVs, and I'll tell you now, to get used to it, because it is for the rest of the series. Yeah, so that being said, what was your favorite character, since a lot of new characters were introduced?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you knew it was coming!
I know, but
You gotta break it up. Who's your favorite magical? Who's your favorite mortal? Who's your favorite animal?
Oh, Kimmy has it all.
Oh, that's a
Who's your
good
favorite
one.
animal?
I like,
Kimmy.
who's your favorite animal?
Abraxos.
Yes, that's the only
Oh,
one.
yeah.
My cat boy. No, just kidding.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh,
kitty cat.
Galvin or
Kitty
whatever.
cat. Your kitty cat. What'd she call him? I love that. I cracked up when I heard that.
Mhm.
Yeah, Rowan's kitty cat friend or
Oh,
something.
Gabriel?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gabriel, I think.
Your kitty cat
Gabriel.
friend.
I forgot she called him that.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously, there's so many characters. We all probably love a few of them. So, real quick, Abraxos, I feel like he's stuck in a transition animal, and he's actually a person, because I felt such a personification with him. Like, he has such a connection. Is it Manon? Is that how you say it?
I say Manon.
I say
Nick says
Manon.
Nick
say
says
Manon.
Manon. It's very
Oh God.
yeah. It's kind of however you
I
want to
say
say it.
Manon.
I say Manon.
I'm gonna go
Yeah,
with
that's what I say.
Manon.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I say.
I feel like there's a connection there, and I love Abraxos so much. So I guess those two are like probably my top two characters. Yeah, someone else can go, but I have others I like, but I love that whole connection with those two. So
Yeah.
I was like rooting for Titus originally, and then when she started to realize Abraxas was different, that whole scene, Brie and Megan gave me like Fourth Wing
Yeah.
flashbacks. I'm not sure if you guys were feeling the same way.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this
Wing
time
Commander.
around, yeah, but
I was like, Adarna?
mm-hmm.
Can't
Claim your
fly?
dragon.
Is bullied? Claim the crossing? The gauntlet?
Yep.
Training? Wing leader? And then
It's
they all
all
have like a
coming
flank. Yep. I did like Abraxas though. I think he was also my favorite animal. I like Kimmy said, I just
Yeah.
like how he like was shielding her from the rain and like wouldn't do anything that he didn't want to do just because they said it, or like they were like whipping him, and he was like, he's way too smart. He's like, you foolish humans, you can't trick me. He'd rather get beat up than listen to people.
I feel like mine is low-key generic, but I think Aelin is my favorite one in this book. I just really like her her growth and her character development. I just felt like it wasn't like, some books can be really instant and then you're like, oh, there was like no growth there, how did we get here? Hers was like so like subtle, like slow throughout the book that you could see the slow changes. And I just like in this book particularly how strong she is and how she's becoming so confident and realizing who she has to be. So I just liked her growth. I think that's why I liked her in this. And she is in second place for Manon, because I fucking love that bitch.
We're gonna do some hardcore shit in the next books. I do think so. I don't think, like, she's the top leader for the king, and she's learning that she doesn't have to be cruel, and Abraxos is there with her, and they're just gonna do something incredible.
Just wait.
Yeah, I can feel it.
Yes.
All right, Christy.
Yeah, Christy, tell us.
Whose was yours?
I guess Rowan was my favorite because I just liked, well, one, I liked how he interacted with her, Selenia, and like forced her to like basically grow. I liked how he like challenged her. I liked how they had like that playfulness once they did break down that barrier. And then towards the end when he actually gives his like blood oath to her, it like sealed it. I was like, yes, absolutely love him. I was so happy that she had him because I guess it was like, I also like loved their friendship that they like got together. because like after he had broken down his barriers and talked about Lyra, I don't know her name.
Lyria.
Yeah, after he had spoken about her, I was like, here we go. And then it just like how when she was like being, I don't know what the word is, eaten by the Valge, I don't know what they're called.
The Vogue.
There we go. I'm not good at this stuff.
It's okay.
But after she was like being drained and he saw that it was like literally tearing him apart and he wanted to do everything to save her, it just like made him even more noble for me. So Abraxos is definitely like a close second. I just love like that relationship with Manon and like how basically like he completely understood everything that was going on and just like had like a intuition with her and they just like melded so well together.
I don't know. I don't know if I could choose.
Well, you have to. They made me do it.
Yes, do it.
I really did like Manon and Abraxos' storyline. I think that was my favorite in the whole book, like I said earlier. And I think I like Abraxos because of like the underdog like theme that was going on with him. But I think I also like Manon because she was just so tough. Like she was a badass. Like when she took that spider silk and Abraxos knocked them over and she just took off, I was like, that is the most badass shit I've ever seen. She's like, I'm not making any deals. Give me my shit. I was like, wow. That's when I was like, I instantly was like, I love this character. Even though like I typically don't like more evil characters, I should say. She's not as nice, but she's pretty badass.
She's like a chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Like she has her own morals and you know.
Own beliefs. Can't blame her.
Yeah.
So
Was raised with no heart.
That's okay. She's still badass.
I think we got to give some props, just like last time when we talked about Selena's maid Philippa, how she was like a real winner. I gotta say, Emerus is a real winner in my heart too.
Oh yeah.
Like he is kind of the one who changed Selena's like, you know, she was going into that deep hole of like nothingness, and he said to Rowan like, I knew her mother, I knew this, blah, 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 you gotta give her some hope. And I was like, yes. And then he's kind of like that character that was like the side character, but I think he's really awesome.
Yeah, it's true.
That scene gave me, like, I gasped. I was like, he knew this whole fucking time.
Right.
What she gave her name, like, Azalentia.
Yeah.
And he was just, like you said, Kimmy, like, challenging her, and I just, like, even, like, the storytelling, like, he was almost like an adoptive grandpa, how I was imagining him.
Yeah.
No, and I still have Kale in my heart, and I want to see what happens with him, and I want Selena to go back to him, because you guys were saying all of them had really great character development, but I still love Kale.
I'm right there with you, Kimmy. Don't worry. I want him to be with her so bad.
I know.
I'm like, really stop, Rowan. I love you too, but stop. Don't wiggle your way.
Right.
Stay over there.
Still holding on to hope.
I do like that her cousin, Adian, or I don't know how you say it.
No, you're right, Adian.
With him, I love that he like completely like baffled all these people and they knew nothing, or at least they made me think that they all knew nothing, that he was related to her, and that towards the end there when he was like, I can't wait till my queen restores her throne, it was just like this whole time like they think that he's like this great general, and he played such a well part, and he was like fighting for the cause, and it made me like him too a lot. I like how he was like kind of douchey, but at the same time like
playing the part.
Yeah.
I have a note that says Adian's ride or die.
Ride or die. Hell yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was like, he gave me mean Damien vibes, like from House of Dragons. That's what I got from him.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I got. That's all I could picture in my head.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Okay, so speaking of POVs, how did we feel about the multiple POVs? I know some of you guys had opinions on it. Do you think you'll get used to it. That'll be easier for the future books.
I think that I'll get used to it eventually. It's just that when it started happening, I didn't know it was happening, and then, like, I'm just like, who's this character? Who's Manon? I never heard of Manon. And then, like, I'm hearing about, like, black beaks and yellow belly legs or whatever they were. Cochrane roaches.
You're close.
I'm just like, what is going on? But, like, once I got into it, it was, like I said, like, it was confusing, but it was also nice to, like, take a break from, like, what was happening to then go into something else. But, like, as Selenia's story is building up, so is theirs, and it's just like, okay, now switch. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I just got into one story and now I gotta change. But I know I'll get used to it. It's just that it took me by surprise, and then I was like, how do these stories, like, intertwine? And then obviously I figured it out, but it's just like, what the heck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt the same way,
It was
so I'm with you.
Yeah, I was okay with it. I was really into, you know, Selena's storyline and the witch's storyline, but then when it went back to, like, the king and, you know, Kale and Dorian, like, it was kind of a lull at times, and I was like, I just want to get back to Selena, I just want to get back to Manon. So I feel like I not skipped, but read, like, quickly through those parts, so, I mean, I'll get used to it, obviously.
Yeah.
But, it was like, come on, I just want to get back to my other people.
I will say with that real quick before I cut anybody else off. I feel like they kind of, like, with the war games, I feel like they kind of, like, shortened it. Like, I feel like it was too short for that POV, because I feel like there's too much going on with Selenia at the same time. And for me, it just felt short. Like, it was just like, they had to get all the eggs or whatever, and this was going on, and then, boom, Petra falls off, or Petra's wyvern gets bitten by, I can't say the other person's name, so don't ask me to. Iskara.
Iskra? I was saying
Eskra. Yeah, Iskra.
Yeah.
Eskra.
So I feel like as soon as that happened and it just ended, I was like, that was really short for, like, the build-up that it was. Because she was trained for so long. She was getting Abraxos to train. She was training with the 13, and then all of a sudden, boom, in and out in 2 seconds. Because I think I was just used to, in the earlier book with Selenia, how she had to become the king's champion, how they were, like, going for, like, months. So for me, this felt super short. And, like, it was like, okay, this is what happened. Abraxos saved Petra, and that's it.
I know what you're saying, but I gotta say, it kind of shows, like, how powerful she really was. Like, we all knew she was gonna win anyway, and, like, I mean, yeah, it definitely was shortened compared to Selena's story, but, like, she did what she needed to do, she got in, she got out, she's powerful. I was okay with how quick it was.
Well, Christy, if you want more, may I introduce you to Fourth Wing?
I already bought it, so we'll see how it goes.
Oh,
Perfect. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
I think definitely, like, it picks up where this book was lacking, at least for that. And, like, even Brie mentioned she loves, like, the wyverns and the dragons and, like, the bonding and all that. So that will definitely, like,
I'm
get
excited.
you what you need.
Yeah.
And don't worry, we might see Manon again.
Oh, I hope so. I mean, she needs to fight in the King's War, right?
Sure.
If this is the last we see of her, I
Yeah, I'm
will be
lying. We
riding
never
in the
see her
streets.
again. Yeah, we
I
never
will be
see her
riding the
again.
streets.
No,
Go to
her and
Megan's
Petra are
house.
gonna do something.
Oh,
You
yeah.
save Petra's life. Something's gonna happen with
She
those two.
owes her.
I could just be lying to you guys, and you would never know.
Well,
mean,
now I'm gonna
why
start
would she-
Googling.
Why would she spend all this time making us bond with this character if she's just gonna leave her out for the next couple books?
I don't know. She did
Because
the
she's
same.
like, gotcha, bitches.
She did the same thing with
Gotcha,
Dorian's storyline. Did she not?
I mean, we just got a little bit more of Dorian's storyline.
Well, she introduced this new character and then chopped her head off.
Right,
Oh,
that's
Scorsha?
character growth.
That's kind of connected to Dorian's, though.
Right,
So,
but it helped
That
to show us
traitorous
his
bitch.
magic. He was controlling that magic for all that time, working with Sorsha, and then also he had growth because he was a playboy in the other two books, and now he finally actually found love, and he realizes that the people that are close to him, like, life is fleeting, especially under his father's rule, and that he doesn't care anymore. Like, that was the, like, stick that broke the camel's back. So I think even though Sorsha got done dirty, I think like it was a great character development.
That was wild. You should see my face earlier as I finished the book. Brian was like, "What?" I was just like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Every time I read that, and he was like, "Please, I'll do anything," and the king was just like, "No," and then cuts her head off. I was like, "Oh my god!"
I know he like no mercy, no talking. Like I thought he'd at least draw out
No.
Dorian's suffering a little bit.
Straight menace.
Because I was like, he's sadistic. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make her. I thought he'd send her to like Endover to refill the
slaves.
The
slaves that he murdered all of them. And nope.
He's no.
Just off with your head.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Fucked up. So then.
I don't think Bree gave her.
Oh yeah,
yet.
go.
I think this is the first book that I've had like multiple POVs. I think every other book I've ever read it's only dual POV. So I actually didn't mind it. I think the only time I minded it was towards the end of the book because it was like that epic battle and then all of a sudden it was like back to Manon's story and I like completely forgot about her. I was like, oh shit, I forgot we need to do the war games and whatnot. And that was just kind of annoying. I was like, you could have just ended it right there and then started a whole new book or whatever. But
I do agree with that actually. Like I felt like she could have switched it. Like she could have done the war games first and then done the big battle and then because I feel like the Dorian Kale Sorsha thing deserved to be last and then do that. Like that I do
that messed me up. Yeah, that order.
I kind of felt like, oh, everything's great, and then it goes back to her and I was like, oh, okay, we're still here.
But yeah, I think I'll be fine in regards to it. It didn't bother me too much.
Well, good, because there's nothing you guys can do about it.
I will say, I think that I'm used to it just because of all like the thriller and mystery books that I read are usually laid out like this. That way you get like different angles to the story and then they all come together. So maybe that's why I'm used to it. Maybe that's why I like it. But
yeah, it's true. So speaking of the king cutting people's heads off, so we got introduced to another potentially bad character. So Maeve or the queen, which one do we not trust or dislike the most? And why? I want to hear theories on this.
Wait, Maeve or the queen?
Who?
Maeve or the king? Like, which one do you not trust the most or like dislike the most?
Equal. It's equal for me right now.
Rock.
Yeah. I have a feeling that she's gonna do some sneaky shit or try some sneaky shit. And then that, or I think that maybe the king and her are gonna try to join forces and try to like obliterate everyone. I don't know. I don't trust either of them.
Okay.
I'd say the king is worse. I think Maeve just likes to be by herself. Like, she didn't send aid or do anything. She's just in her own world over there. Whereas the king of Ardenland's a lot worse in that he's trying to conquer all this land and murder a bunch of people, send them to prison, then murdering everybody in prison for any type of uprising. Murdering,
Anybody.
his son's girlfriend just right in front of him. Like, I feel like that's 10 times worse.
Things not to do when you bring your girlfriend to meet your dad.
Yeah.
She was a traitor, apparently. That Dorian didn't know she was a traitor, so...
Yeah, that is fair. That is fair.
Not saying I condone chopping off her head, but... she was a traitor.
True.
I think mines would have sufficed.
Technically.
I was saying, I think the mines would have been a proper punishment for that, but
Nope.
I don't know, she would have gotten killed anyway.
that's
Yeah,
fair.
true.
But at least she would have been alive for a little bit longer.
We have 5
A
extra
week?
minutes. Yeah.
Well, it's better than immediately.
Her travel to the Endover.
Yep. And then she
And
dies.
then her head gets cut off.
Yep. You're a rebel? Done.
Yeah, the king sucks, Maeve, whatever, but Arobin is still out there. He hasn't come back into the fold.
His
Here's
mother
my
trucker.
theory, okay?
She's on to
Here's
this
my
man.
theory. Arobin is the one who found Selena, and her amulet disappeared. So I think Arobin is working with the king And I think he's actually telling the king what to do. Because, we haven't heard about him in such a long time, and, there's gotta be a big twist, because obviously she's going to the Assassin's Keep to try and get this amulet back. So, I still hate Arabin, and I still think he's the worst. Then the king, then Maeve.
Honestly, that's fair. I have to say that's fair. I hate them all, so that's mine.
Yeah, I hate them both, but I like the way Brie put it. The king is more evil on a grander scale, and Maeve is more self-serving. But it was really annoying how she was I know in other books as well, where they mention the Fae's promises, they have to be worded very specifically. And I was reading that, and I was like, oh my gosh, Maeve is gonna trick her. She just seems so. Everything that she does has an ulterior motive. I don't trust her. Whereas the king, that if you even blink wrong at him, he's gonna kill you. So she's a little tricky, and I don't trust her. And I'm what is she gonna do? Especially that Selena embarrassed her like that. Oh, hell is gonna come. Which also, I was slow clap for Selena for figuring all this out on the fly and then calling her on her bullshit.
Oh yeah, she's good at that. She did embarrass her. The shit out of her.
And then took Rowan. I was pumping my fist. Also, I was reading this on the train, so I'm sure I got some weird looks. I was literally jumping up and down for joy.
Hell yeah.
They were get this American out of here.
Yeah, they're
she
"What
having a
weirdo."
seizure? Okay. Are we good to move on?
Yeah.
Yep.
For me.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did we feel about the ending? Specifically asking about chopping off Sorsha's head, Kale running away, Aiden getting captured, and Dorian now having a black collar on his neck.
Don't make me cry.
That's what I do best.
So angry. For me,
Yeah, what do we feel about that? Go ahead.
I'm with Scorsha getting her head cut off, I feel bad, but at the same time, like I said earlier, she was technically a traitor. So no matter what, in the king's eyes, you're damned. Even if he wasn't a terrible king, back whenever those kinds of things happened, traitors, that's what basically happened. But I think that there's some kind of meaning behind it, and I don't know what it is. But as far as Dorian with the ward whatever they are,
The word keys?
yeah. Is it a key around him? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think that's technically what they're calling it.
It's a ward stone.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
With that around him, it broke my heart because I don't know if he has it in him to get out of that. If you know what I mean. You know how when Selenia was fighting, I don't know how you said that, the Valg. She was able to break through that barrier when she hit bottom and faced her all her demons. She was able to get out of them. I don't know if he has it in him to get out of whatever that hold is on him. And I was super pissed at Kale for running because he basically just left his friend to die. I felt I understand why he had to run, but I just don't know what his next steps are going to be. It's just a bunch of unknowing that makes me very curious, but also very sad because I don't know what's gonna happen, and I know it's gonna be something terrible, and I don't want to cry.
Well, you have to. It's a
I don't wanna.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of felt the same way. The first time reading it, I was oh shit, what does this mean for Dorian? Blah blah blah. But Kale running, the only thing that saved him for me, so I was on the Kale train for a long time, and then at the end of this book, I was not until the end of the series, and then I was back on. But when he ran, it made me so angry because his whole purpose, this whole book, Like, every time he was meeting with the rebels, his only friggin' purpose was to get Dorian out and get him away. And then he gets, a collar put on him, and Kale doesn't even know really what that means. Like, realistically, like, he has an idea, but doesn't have a solid idea. Like, we don't know what that means. And the only thing that saved him was he went to get Fleetfoot.
Oh yeah, I would have been even
Yeah.
more angry if he didn't.
Because
That
he
would
knew
piss
that
me
he
off.
couldn't leave her. But then, yeah, to leave Adie and not even try to, like, this guy who became, like, an acquaintance, over the past couple months, like, not even try to do anything. Like, he just ran. And then reported back to Ren, who's like, oh yeah, like, all this shit went down, like, it's just us. It's like, homie, like, you were invited to the party. You didn't start the party. You weren't the host. Like, you were just invited. So now it's just, I don't know, it's just like, it really rubbed me the wrong way.
Kind of like fed into my, like, I don't want to say hate for him, but it, like, this whole book just, like, proved to me for the most part that, like, he was just like a coward because, like, he wasn't standing up for what he needed to be standing up for. And every time Adian was like, what are you standing up for? Like, are you with them or are you with us? And he would never give him a direct answer. And I know, like, it was his heartstrings pulling on him, being like, you have to do your duty, but you also have to save your friends. But it was just like, for me, it should have been just like, boom, ride or die. Like, I'm gonna save everybody that I can. All of my friends matter.
Mm-hmm.
And it shouldn't have, like, pulled at him like that. So that point, what you're talking about, like, it's hard, but I am happy he did grab Fleetfoot.
Oh yeah, it was the saving grace, really.
Well said though, Christy. I didn't like that he was like, I don't know whose side I'm on. And that's why I kind of jumped off the Kale train to the Rowan train, because Rowan, like, even though he needed, like, the blood oath to honor Maeve, he still was like, you are Alien Galvinius, like, you will be leading this war, I will do whatever I can to help you, even though he's under her control. And then, like, the second he was done with that blood oath, he's like, I will absolutely serve you. And I just liked that it just wasn't so, like, wish-washy like Kale. But I get it, Kale, like, had his, like, yeah, and Kale, like, also had, like, his heart broken, and, like, Dorian, he was ostracized from Dorian, and then Aiden came through. I get everything that happened, but, like, he was literally, like, he killed someone, he, like, murdered someone for Selenia, and then the second she's out of the castle, he's like, well, I don't know how I feel about her.
Yeah, I hated that, but I could go on and on about it, really, I could. So I want someone else to go, because I will never shut up about it.
Do you want me to speak? Because I kind of disagree.
Yes, we need someone
Yes.
who disagrees.
So I disagree because even though Kale was sitting there the majority of the book saying, like, he didn't know how he felt about things, the moment Selenia got off that boat, he was trying to figure out and get information. He subconsciously already picked who he was fighting for. He didn't want to admit it, but he was the one looking into all of this, trying to figure out where the ward stones came from or how magic disappeared. He started all of that, even though it was already coming together. He's like, I need to go find the rebels, and this is what I need to do, and I need to do this before I leave. Right? I think he has so much loyalty towards her. Then go talk about Dorian. What was he doing? He was making out with this other chick. He ain't do shit. He's like, I choose Selena, but he's not doing anything.
Yeah, but as the
literally
king's
sitting there.
son, I mean, he doesn't really have...
But I feel
King's
like
son, he has
choice.
powers, and he knows that what his dad is doing wrong. He's being complicit.
But if he has
Into
powers,
everything
though, his
going
dad
on.
would kill him.
He can still gather information and try to be involved in this. And when that opportunity came up to him, he was like, no, I don't want to be involved in whatever you guys are talking about.
But I feel like Dorian had his back against the wall, because it's either like Christy was saying, like, he would be a traitor and that's his father. But I feel like Kale getting all this information about the magic and the word keys was also for Dorian. He kept saying, oh, I'm only here for Dorian. Like, learning how magic escaped, learning how to take down his king, saying that Dorian is the only true king he saw in that room. Everything was for Dorian. It just so happened that being on Dorian's side also benefited Selenia.
Yeah.
That's true.
In my
I
opinion.
disagree with that because he still loves her no matter what. He sent her over there to be safe, and he's still doing some of this for her as well. But he also is conflicted because, like, so-and-so is the prince, right? He's also the king of the guard, or whatever, the captain of the guard. So he has a duty to his country the same that Dorian does.
Oh, 80.
And not only that, Dorian or Kale is not only just worried about the king, he's worried about the civilians that may be involved as well. He's like, if I take out this tower, I don't want random people going in here and wreaking havoc upon all the innocent people for them to get involved. We need to figure out how to take this down from the inside. And that, I was like, I commend him a lot for that.
I want to add, I think Kale has never had a moment in his life where he could honestly think and be himself. He always had to be something for someone. And I think he's in that transition period of like, I can branch off and I can do my own thing. He's just trying to work through it. He's like always had to serve his family, serve the king, serve his friend. So now I'm giving him a break because like he's trying to learn what he can do.
That's fair.
Yeah. Same as Selena. She's going through her own journey and finally accepting who she is. Kale's gonna accept who he is, and he's realizing I don't align with what this king and what he basically represents, and I'm only gonna serve the true king, which is Dorian. So I liked everyone's like growth. Like I think each character in this book had so much growth.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. I just think for like the quote that sticks with me in this book, so it like directed at Kale, is when Dorian says like, you know, you can't pick and choose what part of her you love. Just because it's just, you could see like the tone of like he doesn't fully understand like who she is. Like it almost was like he acted blindsided at times. Like, how could she kill people? And it's like, dog, she's an assassin. Like, and then learning that she's a potential queen and then has magic, like, flipped his world upside down for, like, I feel like the worst, because he is just kind of, like, not... Like Dorian said, he's trying to pick and choose what part of her he wants to be with and still care about, when that's not the case. Like, he has to love her as a whole, and that's what I feel like Dorian does, like, platonically loves her as whoever she is.
Valid. I did highlight that part and said, yes, Dorian, you're speaking facts right now.
Because I really feel like Dorian and Selena are like platonic soulmates, like soulmate best friends kind of thing. Like
I think their fates are like tied based off of like their lineage, right? They both come from this Brennan guy, which is why Nehemia in the beginning was saying that he is not ready. Like, he can't take that leap to initiate what needs to happen, but Selena might be, and Nehemia had to do what she needed to do in order to push Selena to do what she needed to do. And now Dorian, with this death, now he's, on that side.
Or
now
is
he's ready. Well, now he's
never know his fate until next book.
I'm gonna punch you.
Sorry, I just have to keep it suspenseful for you guys.
With Dorian, I did like how you're saying like they're like platonic soulmates, because like what ties that all in is like how when they were giving like the backstory of her, Selenia as she was a child, and her and Dorian had tea together. Mm-hmm. It was like kind of like, I liked how cool it was that like they had already met once in their life, whether they remember it or not, but then they were like intertwined back into each other's lives. So they might not have had like a great time when they were kids or whatever, but it just like kind of like still rests on that like
destiny kind of.
Yeah. And then the other thing I was gonna say was with Kale, the other thing that pissed me off was he had like all of this information that he was getting from Adian and Ren and Murtaugh, but he wasn't like pushing Dorian to know it. Like, he'd be like, oh, it's not really good time for me to tell him, or oh, like I don't think I should tell him now. And that kind of like pissed me off because I feel like if Dorian had like all of the information that he had known, he would have probably tried harder to work with him to help Slaney or to help figure out like what their next move would be, rather than leaving him in the dark and then finally going to him at like basically when his hands were tied.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's a good point. And then also I feel like he's never takes action when it comes to like big things, because that was like the whole
Yeah.
Nehemia thing. That's why Slaney wouldn't forgive him initially. It was like he just didn't do anything with the like information that he was given.
And
Yeah,
don't
like,
get me wrong, I still have hope that like her and him eventually find each other and get back together or have some sort of a romance, but it was just like little things throughout this book that like made me like him less and less.
Mm.
But I still have that hope.
Yes, I still like him, definitely. Just like you said, losing some points here and there.
mm.
Yeah.
So I can open it up to theories and questions now. I will start though, because I have one thing that I tabbed. I have one tab in this friggin' book, and it was this.
One tab.
Yeah, because this is my special edition, so I didn't want to put tabs in it, but I really feel like I had to tab this one.
My special edition.
Yeah, it was for my birthday, shut up. Alright, so this one's for pretty much Becca and Bree, and I won't really say much other than read it, and you guys could just kind of stew on it, and then Christy and Kimmy will understand, I feel like, later, but so this is on page 85 for me. It's when she's kind of like talking to Luca for the first time, like having like a solid conversation. And let's see. It says, but Luca chattered on, no one here has any exciting or rare abilities like shapeshifting into whatever form they want or controlling fire. Or ocular sight. We did have a female wander in with raw magic 2 years ago. She could do anything she wanted, summon any element, and she was here a week before Maeve called her to Doranel, and we never heard from her again. A shame, she was so pretty too, but it's the same here as it is everywhere else. A few people with a pathetic trace of elemental powers that are really only fun for farmers. So,
I did tab that actually.
it's the what, Christy?
I said it's the bar wench. I forget her
Yareen?
name.
Yareen?
Yeah.
It's not.
Oh well.
Sorry. Just that theory was really high up there. I had to just tear you down for a second. It's not. You did tab that one though, Brie?
I did tab it. I put tabs on things that I think are gonna come up later. So I'm like, ooh, this is significant. Like, this is relevant. Let's get it come out.
So
But-
I'll tell you that doesn't come up later, but it is something to think about.
So my brain is just like not connecting who this could be, so I feel
You don't
dummy.
think it's another main character?
well. I'm thinking of who it could be.
I know who you're thinking who it could be. I know what you're thinking. I did not catch that the first time I read this book, and I read that part when I was in the car and Nick was driving, and I just like stopped and I was like, what the fuck? And he didn't read anything else, like he read Throne of Glass, so I couldn't really say anything. But I really didn't catch that the first time, and that almost feels like a slap in the face if there is one.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
I tabbed it, but I don't know what I was thinking at this point.
Yeah, and I do want to make it known for everyone before we continue into theories. She does have another 7-book series that she is slated to write. That is neither confirm or deny if it's a part of any of this.
So after ACOTAR number 6 got pushed back, now she's writing 7 more books?
Yeah, and she
Oh
said...
my gosh.
This woman's on crack.
Yeah, and she... so they asked her in the interview, like, is this a continuation of Throne of Glass? And she said, I can't say anything, but let's just say you're gonna see some characters that you love and cherish.
So yes.
So, I mean, possibly,
Give
but...
me what's her face with the horse. I can't think right now. Kimmy.
Ansel.
Ansel?
Yeah, Ansel.
Oh,
Isn't
that would be
wait,
cool.
I hope I'm not spoiling anything, but like when you read the book and it said that somebody had taken over the castle had red hair.
Yeah, that was Ansel. She had,
That was
taken
Ansel.
over the wastes, yeah.
Did you pick that up, Christy?
Nope.
I was like, she's alive. What do you mean? Is that in this book?
Yeah, because that was where her home was in the wastes, so... I
She
mean,
went to go kill that guy.
yeah, it wasn't really
Yeah.
clear in this book, but yeah, she did kill him, and now she's the
Wow,
queen of
go
the
Ansel.
wastes.
I was like, ally, future ally.
Oh,
Megan, be quiet.
she's not. Sorry, she doesn't come back. Okay, but that's all I had. Because obviously I can't
Wait,
say
so
much.
who is it?
I can't tell you.
I don't know. Who has raw magic like that? I don't.
Begins with an F. Spell it from there.
F.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
What?
Does it take place before
So that's the thing is...
or
Wait,
after?
what'd
So-
you say, Bree?
No, she didn't say anything, Chrissy. So...
How'd you yell at me, Megan?
Cuz, you don't know yet. Wait your turn.
Now I'm Googling. No.
No!
No.
Don't do that!
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So... I can't say anything else for it, unfortunately, just because of all the other books that are out there. Fuck.
You're a
Yeah, I
piece of
can't.
work.
I can't say anything.
Yeah, I don't want it to be ruined for me. I want
Yeah.
to read
See,
it. So.
I thought that this was more of a happens before, or
That's
is either in another universe.
that's why I can't say
Or
anything, because
Following book.
all of you guys don't know, not just Kimmy and Chrissy. Not reading
What is it going to be
anything
from
else.
Crescent City?
I can neither confirm nor
there we
deny. I
go.
can't
Yes,
say
that's a yes,
anything.
Christy.
I think I had told Becca and Bree that, like something like that previously, but
I knew that I was supposed to be looking out for something that just totally went over my head, but that being said, Christy, I think the answer to your question is yes.
I think so. I think just moving forward, though, like seriously, I think when you see like something like this that's interesting, I would tab it, because if it doesn't come up now in this series, it might come up somewhere else. Like if you think it's something interesting, like why would she say that? Like, you know the freaking Crunk meme where he's like, oh, it's all coming together. That's literally how I felt.
Pull the lever, Crunk.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the meme, yeah. But that's how I felt with all these books once I was quote-unquote done, because it's not done, but that's how I felt. I was like, oh, it all came together. So I would that's what I would do. If you find something interesting that you're like, why, that makes no sense, why would she say that? I would keep a note of it.
Damn her and her intertwining books now.
I know, she's just so smart.
There's too much information.
hurts.
My brain can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the freaking Marvel universe.
It really is.
There's like, what is that? Timeline after timeline.
The multiverse.
Like the multiverse,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're gonna be reading this until we're in our fucking 50s.
That's fine. I'm looking to die at 60, so
Oh, great.
hopefully it gives me time to read everything. Alright, so theories. I'll open it up. I know Kimmy's like probably biting her fingernails off wanting to talk about theories.
A little bit.
Yeah. So Kimmy can go first.
I just want to bring one up. You guys were talking about Ansel. Of course, I marked it. Page 325 is when she was getting the spider silk. And they said, I heard, a woman with wine red hair now calls herself the High Queen. And Manon says, she's the first I'm going to kill when I reclaim my land. And now I just had a really sad moment that my two favorite characters are going to fight each other. So, anyway. Yeah, so that's just, it's gonna happen. Like, they wouldn't mention that if nothing was gonna happen between those two. So I guess that's my theory. Those two are gonna fight. And maybe one of them will die. Maybe they'll become allies. But
I'm gonna kill you, but also become your best friend.
so they both live.
Mm-hmm.
Let's check my notes for other stuff.
I was gonna say, that's all you got?
No, that's not all I have.
She has
Well, okay,
62
here's
other
another one.
posted notes.
Mm-hmm.
No, I got my notes now.
I
No
know.
post-it note.
I know.
So Dorian has his word key collar now, right? So I feel like Selena may have to battle him and try to get this collar off, but he's gonna try to be sucking her memories or something like the demons did before. So I think someone really important's gonna have to fight Dorian to get this collar off, if that even can happen. The good old clock tower, right? We said, and the gargoyles. I don't know what's up with the gargoyles, but they mentioned the gargoyles again. They were like, what? They said, yeah, there's 3 towers. Oh, and they all have gargoyles. So something with the gargoyles. I don't know what.
I have a theory about that. I think that the gargoyles are like one of the other, and I'm trying to find it because I didn't have my tabs with me when I went over, but I'm trying to find it where I think someone mentions, I think it's Maeve mentions that like many other things want to be in this world, and they were crossing over when the word gates were open. So, and then Brandon was able to like not kill them all, but I think she said something along the lines of like he sealed them and then kind of like fled. So I was wondering if something with the gargoyles was tied into the other creatures from like the other dimensions. Because like why are they on all those black towers? Because again, Maeve is like super vague, so like I think something that she said, and I'm flipping through something that she said in there like made me like really, really suspicious.
So another thing about Rowan. So when they were talking about mates, I thought that was really cool, and I was trying to figure out who Selena's mate is going to be or is. And I was like, are they going to make it that obvious and it's going to be Rowan? Or is it going to be Dorian? So what are your guys' thoughts? Like, who's her mate going to be?
I mean, I would just question, would she have one? Because they're rare, too.
Oh, it says it's rare. Oh, I must have missed that.
Yeah.
That's like what is that thing when she joined forces with him and they shared like their powers?
The-
Kakaran or...
The Karanam.
Karanam.
I think that's
Yeah.
different, though.
Karanam.
That's almost
No,
like
I know. I'm just saying it's also rare that like they can even match up and do that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, he did say it was like a last, well, it's rare that they survived it, I think.
I don't
was
think
what
that
it was.
her partner would be Rowan because he already had his partner and you're with your
Yeah,
partner
right.
for
You can only have
life
one
and
mate.
she already died.
Mhm.
So I don't think that he would re-mate with her, but I don't know. This woman surprises me every day.
And you have to think, too, that Aelin was in a human form for so long that, like, could she have met that person already and it passed? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's another theory. Did you find anything about the gargoyles that you were looking for?
I'm still going.
I was gonna say,
Alright,
but I fell asleep.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Just as
So-
over the...
I that's why I was a little late. I definitely was sleeping.
So, at the beginning of these books, we said we don't think Dorian is the king's true son. Then we were talking about, how he has the powers, and then we said, we found out he has the ice and wind power, just like Rowan. And then I was thinking, are these two related somehow? And are they brothers? That was like what went in my mind. And then also with the whole mating thing, I was like, well, she's bound with Rowan, but could her potential mate be Dorian? My mind was going when I brought up the mates thing, so.
That would be a messy family dynamic, let me tell you.
Yeah. I was like, it's interesting they both have the same type of magic power. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more who possess that power. And then they kept saying how rare the fire power was and how Selena has it. How rare it is. I don't know.
Yeah, hers
My
is...
mind's like spinning.
No, hers is rare because she gets it from her dad's
She gets
side.
it from her daddy.
Yeah, so... And it's one of the sisters that is part of his line, I'm pretty sure. I forget her name.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, hers is apparently very rare. Going on?
I got nothing.
Nothing? Oh my god.
Not this time. I think this book, it was hard for me, like I said earlier, to kind of keep up with it. So I don't think I read it as thoroughly as I would have liked to even form theories.
Gotcha.
I still think Abraxos is stuck in magic form and is actually a person. So I'm gonna go with that theory. No, I don't know. Like
It's a
when
good theory.
all the magic stopped 10 years ago, and everybody was like, they could have been trapped in their animal form, because it said that like a few times in this book, like people were trapped in their form. And just the connection he has with Manon, it just seems like more than an animal. And I feel like once the magic is restored, hopefully, with these towers or whatnot, Abraxos will be like transformed and become something else. I don't know. That's a theory.
It's a good theory.
No,
though.
I think that's a good theory, yeah. Especially because even Petra like came up to her saying like, oh, that they're alive, right? Like they understand what we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
stuff
she
like
did
that.
say that.
Not only that, like when Petra died after her dragon died or her wyvern died, I want to know why, because they're saying that she died of a broken heart, but is there some type of bond that goes on there? So now anytime, someone's wyvern dies, they also die?
I
No,
think so.
Petra
As
didn't
well.
die. She didn't die.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
Did
think
she
Petra
die?
died.
She
No,
didn't
didn't she die
die,
of a
but she
broken
said
heart?
that she... Yeah, she said that she
Think,
suffered
She
a broken heart.
She suffered a broken heart, meaning like she
Like, she couldn't
like
go on.
couldn't get out of bed because
I thought she died. She did.
No.
She laid in bed and just
No,
died
but-
later on and died of a broken heart, literally.
No, like, she still had there was, like, the bond of having the broken heart and stuff, but no, she did not die. I don't think she's just probably
I was
part of it
feeding
anymore.
through that, so.
But I think she even mentioned, she said something like, I think her wyvern's name was Keely, and she goes, oh, well, doesn't Abraxas speak to you? And like she like used inflection on speak, so I definitely think there's some sort of bond there, and I guess she was more intuitive than Manon was, and I think that's why she felt so terribly once her wyvern died. So I definitely think like Kimmy's saying, like there's definitely more to Abraxas or all the wyverns than we know right now, because like why would she feel that way? And we also know like the witches are they're just killing machines, so like why would she act that way to an animal that was just chained up and is going to be used for war?
That's a good question.
I like that, Becca, talking about how maybe all of those beasts are actually something else.
They're just all intelligent, I think,
Yes,
because
yes,
even like
definitely.
even Titus like knew when the overseers weren't looking, so like he can go eat one of them. Like
Right.
they're all smart. And then even when Abraxas started to like, even though he's the tiniest and he's injured, like he would talk to the other wyverns and they like fell in rank. So there's definitely some sort of like intelligence there.
Yeah, even though the caretaker was like, oh, they're nothing more than dogs. Like,
Right.
but also, dogs are extremely intelligent. So,
Right.
to say that it's could be true, but that's also not true because they're not stupid.
What about where these three towers are? Knoll, Rith, Rithvold and Amaroth, the word gates.
Mm-hmm.
What's our theories about? Are they gonna take one down? Are they gonna? Like, I kept flipping back and forth to the map the whole time. I was like trying to like trace an image in my mind. I was like, is this a word mark? I was like,
I think
doing
that
something.
Kale is gonna like stupidly try to destroy one by himself and get killed.
yeah.
That's what I think.
He's gonna be typical man and just do something without
Oh,
asking,
me
but it's
see
gonna be the
tower,
wrong
me
thing.
go destroy it.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's what I think is gonna happen, and then I think she's gonna somehow see it and watch him get obliterated, and he's gonna die,
Oh
or
my
the king
God.
is gonna kill him
Say that about
and
my
obliterate
Jesus.
him, and she's gonna see it, and then it's
Christy said before, I have hope that there's gonna be a romance, and now she's like, he's gonna blow
And now
up.
he's gonna
He's
die.
gonna
He's gonna die.
Well, obviously the romance
I
first.
think it was gonna last long, 5 minutes in and out, and then he's dead.
Yeah, they're gonna
like,
kiss
Final
once,
words.
and then
Last
he's gonna
words.
blow
I
up.
love you so much. I've always loved you. Boom. Blows
Yeah.
up.
and they never even get to be together. How messed up is that? That's something she would do.
That's something she would do.
You want
I was sitting
happiness?
over here.
Never.
Not here.
You won't get it here.
I'm ready to meet Erebrand though again.
I want her to
fuck that
fuck
guy
him up.
Fuck that guy.
I want Rowan to fuck him up. I just be like,
No,
yeah.
I want her to. I want her to
I
have
want-
like a stamp on it, like
I want him to
You
hold
ruined
down
my
and
li-
let Selena do it.
like the way that she treated Graves. I want her to do what he made the one sadist guy do to Sam.
Oh, carve him up.
Yeah.
sodomite.
Okay.
Stop. I don't
Needs
even
to
want
whip
to be
him.
reminded.
I want her to throw a word collar on him.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Control him.
Make him eat shit.
Oh, that'd be good.
Send him to the fucking mines for a year.
Yes, whip him
Whip him.
Whip.
with the iron whip.
Jesus Christ. Christy read too much of The Ritual.
Has everyone cried so far in
Yes.
the series?
Once,
Yes.
Am I just heartless?
because she's heartless.
I
I did
haven't
tear
yet.
up a little bit this one when Emery was saying goodbye. I was like, oh, that was so sweet.
She cries with the old man.
I just go, am I heartless? Roddy looks at me and starts nodding his head.
He's like, that's why I'm with you.
He's like, yeah, you kinda are.
I
No,
cried
I've never
during
cried,
the beautiful interaction between Rowan and Selena. Like, I think there was like 2 of them this time, and I teared up, and I was just like, this is beautiful writing. I don't even know.
No, yeah, I'm
Right
with you. Yeah. Like the beautiful
Absolutely.
parts.
Oh
I got
my
lots of
God.
chills. I will say that. Like
Mhm.
when they said that Scotia was the traitor or whatever, I had instant chills. Like every hair on my body stood up because I wasn't expecting that.
Mm-hmm.
I read the part where Selena found the light and killed the
Oh, yeah.
beast, like three times because I was like, this is amazing. This is amazing.
And I'm pretty sure she said that I'm not afraid line. I was like, oh my god.
I'm
I
not
was just
afraid
fucking.
anymore.
I was just fucking sobbing.
And then when she's like, this light will not go out, I was like,
Yeah, I cried.
ooh,
Yeah,
goosebumps.
yeah, I cried there.
Yeah, when she first said like her light did go out, instant goosebumps. I was like, oh no.
Mhm.
And then it was like, and it's back. I was like, yes.
Mine was when Manon bonded with Abraxas. Like that whole.
Megan's like, that's
fight.
me and Sydney.
Yeah, he is a nasty dragon that smells bad. But yeah, no, that whole thing where she like bonded with him and she's like fighting Titus with him. I could just like see it in my head. It literally made me think of like How to Train Your Dragon. Like one of my favorite movies
Yes.
of all time.
Toothless.
Yeah.
Guess what, Becca?
Therapy or something.
The next book, you're crying.
Oh, she is crying.
So when I cry, I use blue tabs. I have not used a blue tab yet, so they want to be
Next
used.
book, you're crying.
So,
Crying.
Empire of Storms, you are going to cry your fucking eyes out, and if you don't, I don't know how we can proceed with the friendship. Because
Becca, if you have no tears for the next time we meet,
I'm
you
surprised. Becca always had the most tabs.
I know,
I
she
know,
has a
I was
specific
always-
tab.
I was always crying
Yeah,
in every other book we've read, and
I like
this
that.
one
You
just
have
hasn't
blue
gotten me
tabs
yet.
for crying.
she does.
During your
Yeah.
sad girl hours.
I have a whole color coding system.
No tears though.
Speaking of, I need new tabs for my next book. Let me go on Amazon.
Hell yeah. Okay. Do we have anything else that we want to bring up? Talk about?
I found the thing, Kimmy. This is the last thing. Sorry it took me so long. and I'm probably wrong because Megan hasn't commented on it yet. But
Oh,
I
Maeve
don't
says
remember what it was.
Maeve says this is in her throne room, and with all 3 keys, he might not need to rely on magically gifted hosts for the Vouge. There are countless lesser spirits among the Vouge, hungry for entrance to this world.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there's gonna be some other monsters.
You think he's gonna get all 3 keys at once?
Already has 2.
I know, but
Supposedly.
she already knows where the third one is if she can get it.
Yes,
If that's
So-
the third one.
if that's the third one.
Yes. So what are the 2 he has? Obviously the ring things.
And I think the eye, right? The eye that was taken off of their tomb.
Yes, but does he have that?
Well, I mean, it's not in the tomb anymore, and they knew that he was down there years ago. That's fair. It's not
The
confirmed,
eye?
but
It was never confirmed what it looked like. It just said that
Right.
he had the one. And
it
then
was, like,
in
missing.
this book, it said that he went to the volcanoes.
right.
So he might have the
Ruby
second
thing?
one already.
The Eye of Elena.
No,
No,
Kimmy's
not
talking
the
about
amulet.
the ruby on the
Oh,
sword,
then
right?
I'm wrong.
Is that what we're talking about? He has the root. Because there's a ruby in the sword she just got.
Yeah.
I don't think
No,
that's a
no,
word
that's
key.
not
No.
That's not a word key.
That's like a legendary sword.
That like connects her to her
Okay.
family somehow, right?
One
of her aunts or uncles or
That was
some
like
shit.
Brennan's.
Brennan's
So that
friend.
was
Somebody else's.
Brennan's
Yeah.
friend that apparently Maeve was either in love with or was best friend. I guess that was his sword.
the one that
Oh,
Oh yeah,
stabbed
because his ring came out of that sword, right?
Right, and the
Yeah.
ruby, I think he carved from the eye of whatever that
that monster was. A lake
that monster was in the lake.
Okay.
And like the ring meant something to Maeve, so I don't exactly know how it connects, but yeah, it definitely connects to Brandon at some way.
Well,
I wish.
Good night.
wait, what? Jeez. Okay, I guess we're
Chris is
signing
like, I don't
off
want to
now.
hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Sorry, we're chatting.
Oh, sorry, I'm just so tired.
Okay, well, this was Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas, and Chrissy's going to bed.
Good night, everyone.
Okay, good night.
Night.
Alright.